What's going on, guys? Justin Fuller, Director of Digital Sales for TrueSpot. Today I want to talk to you about Toyota of Hollywood. So these guys are part of the Craig Zinn Auto Group. I happen to work with a handful of dealerships inside of that group, helping them track not only their keys, but their vehicles. Now, what does that mean? It means at any given point of the day, they can pull up the phone app or the desktop dashboard and they can see the location of where one of their keys are. Now, these guys happen to use the key track machine, so we have an integration set up with that as well so that you can see this not only on our phone app and dashboard, but additionally on the key machine. So they can see who checked it out, when it's checked out, but also where is the key now when it starts floating around the dealership. In addition to that, they can also track their vehicles with us, right? So this way, when a vehicle is misparked or parked behind service or behind sales or wherever it might end up, you're not wandering around, hitting the alarm on the key trying to find it. You can open up the app or look on the key machine and see the exact location of the key and the exact location of the car out on the lot. So here we are on the phone app, right? I've got my phone and I'm mirroring it to the screen over here. So I want to show you what it looks like to run a search, to find a key, and to find a vehicle. So I'm going to jump into this. Now, once I'm here, this is where it's going to pull in an inventory feed, a merchandising feed, a DMS, whatever feed you want to provide us, or multiple feeds to give us the stock numbers, the VINs, the photography, the descriptions, whatever info you want to populate here. Now, let's talk about running a search. So for the sake of this, I'm going to type in the last four of a stock number, right? And that's 1700. And it's going to pull up and show me some vehicles. And I'm going to go, okay, which one was it? Oh, it's that 23 Volvo XC60, right? So the stock number last four is 1700. And I can do last five, last six. I can do the VIN, do partials, however you want to do it. So once I found my vehicle that I'm running the search for, I'm going to go ahead and select it. From there, it's going to pull up. It's going to default and show me where the vehicle is first. So on the map, I can see where the vehicle is at. And then right above the map, it's going to tell me. So it's location, pre-owned sales lot, house east. And I can zoom in and out to see exactly where that's at. So if I need to zoom way out to see this, I absolutely can, or I can zoom way on in, right? And as I walk around on the map, all appears a blue dot. So this way, as I'm walking up to that car, I'll be able to see where it's at. Now, secondarily, let's talk about where the key is. So I'm going to select the key icon. When I do that, it's then going to pull up on the map and show me the location of the key. So I can see it's inside the building right now. But then right above that, it's going to say location, pre-owned sales, key track. So this key is currently living in their key track, and then I can see the car is parked out on their pre-owned lot. So as a sales guy, as a lot porter, a technician, whoever needs to go find this key and find this car, I already know that the key's in the key machine and the car's out on the lot. And if the key's not in the key machine, I'll see the location of that key anywhere on my campus so that I can quickly locate it. Now, if I got over here and I was trying to find this key, and let's say it wasn't in the key track, but it's in the building, and I'm like, okay, I'm right by this pin drop, I'm in the room, where is it? Understand that granularity-wise, you can walk up within 1 or 2 feet of a key. And how you do that is use this Find a Tag button on the screen. So if I select that, it's going to start pinging that tag. Now, the first thing you should know is there's an LED in the tag that will actually start flashing. So it'll appear right there and start flashing. So if you have a wall of tags that you're trying to find a key on, know that you could do that. But when you do this, a white ball will appear here in the middle of the screen. As I walk closer to that tag, that white ball will move down towards the immediate section. When I get to immediate, I'm now within 1 to 2 feet of that tag. And if I was to walk the opposite direction away from it, it would then move towards that far section, right? The red section up top. So a little bit of getting hot and cold, but as far as granularity, I can walk you right up to where a key is at. So if it's in a desk, if it's in a car, if it's in the drawer of the machine and it just didn't register, you could hold this up to the drawers and go, okay, it's in drawer 2. We know it's in there. It just maybe didn't register when we put it in, right? These things happen. So granularity-wise, understand key-wise, I can walk you within 1 to 2 feet. And then when it comes to cars, I can get you within a spot or two. Now, you may be asking yourself, how does this work? How are you able to see where a key is at and where a car is at on the campus? What does that require, right? So I want to explain that real quick. So what we do is we set up a network. And what you can see on the screen over here is the network that we've set up specifically at this dealership. So if I hover over certain areas, you can see they have a church parking lot that they store cars at. They have a rental area. They've got a body shop and service area that they've got. They've got the new car drop off and then the main lot. Now, all these red pin drops that you're seeing on the map are gateways. Now, what are gateways? Gateways are what we use to create the network so you can see where those tags are at. So on the outside of buildings, light poles, I use these guys. It's a solar power gateway. So these guys, I simply just run it up a pole and band clamp it on. It doesn't require power lines or anything. It'll hold about a month's worth of charge. This is what allows you to see those key tags or those vehicle tags as they float around outside, right? Now, the second part is inside. So in service bays, next to key machines, where all my sales guys' desks are, anything like that, I use these interior gateways. These guys simply just plug into a wall outlet, right? And this is what's going to allow me to see those keys on those cars inside of structures, right? Whether it's in a showroom, whether it's in a parking structure, what level it's on, that sort of thing. Now, all of these are going to talk to a base station. That is this guy. This is what's collecting the data points of where the tags are, to the gateways, then pushing to this guy and pushes out to the cloud. So that when you open up the phone app like we just looked at, or the desktop dashboard, you're going to be able to see where is a key at now, or where is a car. All right, guys, so here we are on the desktop dashboard, and you can see that network that I was just talking about, right? So we can see up here the service in the body shop areas, the church parking lot that they rent, the rental office area that they have, the new car drop-off, all these different areas. I can even see over at the main campus, I can even see their parking structure. It's got 5 different floors on it, so for them, not only can they see how many vehicles are on each floor, but they can also see which vehicles are on that floor if they want, right? So if I want to know everything that's sitting on floor 2 right now, I could click on that and it'll present me with a list of stock numbers and VINs that are on floor 2. If I want to do the basics, right, I just need to run a search for a specific stock number VIN. I can type in that stock number VIN and then run the search. Over the right, I'd see that car. Oh yeah, I was looking for that 24 Toyota Tundra. Click on it. It then is going to show me the vehicle on the map, right? So I can see it on here. And it's also going to tell me, so we know that it's in the garage, but over here it'll tell me floor 5 garage roof. So I know that this vehicle is parked on the roof right now of the parking structure. And then where is the key? No problem. It shows me in the building, but it also tells me, hey, it's in cells. It's in the East Cells Tower. When it comes to efficiency, I'm no longer walking around, like I mentioned, hitting the alarm trying to find a key. And if you have a parking structure, you'd have to walk all the way up that thing because sometimes alarms don't work that well through concrete, right? This eliminates all that wasted time, right? And of course, if you can't find a key or you can't find a car, the chances of selling it, probably not that likely. At a quick glance up here, I can look. I'm going to scroll and kind of highlight over it, and I can see, hey, if I want to know what's on floor 1 right now, I click on this, and it presents me a list with all the vehicles on floor 1. I have 18 vehicles on it. And I can turn the map off and have my 18 vehicles right now. Now, if I was doing some sort of audit and I wanted to export this to an Excel, no problem. I've got a button to hit that, and it'll create an Excel sheet with all of this data in it for me. So understanding what's where becomes a very easy process. Not only can I do this for inventory, but I can also do this for keys. So if I'm looking at this at any given point of a day, and I go, okay, I got 5 sets of keys over at the body shop, I can look down here and see if that matches up with the amount of vehicles that I've ever. Well, I've only got 2 vehicles over there, but 5 sets of keys, right? We're talking about retail stuff right now. Why is that? Right? So I can click on the 5 sets of keys. Here's my 5. Let's cross-reference it. You may be asking yourself, hey, what happens if something leaves the campus, right? If I'm looking at this campus and something ends up leaving it, then what, right? Well, let's talk about that for a second. Anytime a tag leaves the campus, it is going to start a timer on that specific vehicle. So for the sake of this, what I'm looking at right now, last settings of inventory, I can click on here and go, okay, in the last 24 hours, they have had 5 vehicle tags that have left the campus and been gone for at least 24 to 72 hours. Here's a list of all 5. That becomes helpful, right? Did we loan them out? You know, is there BVA paperwork on them? I don't know, right? I may want to check on these stock numbers and VINs. Not only can I get this information, but if I want to set up alerts, so maybe I want, you know, opening duty managers to go, hey, I want them to get an email with this list to know to check on that in the mornings. No problem. Come into the back office over here. You find your manager. All you got to do is go down to missing vehicle alerts, turn on the tab, boom. Now each morning he gets an email related to those vehicles that have been off the campus for extended periods of time. Now, you can attach notes to these things. So understand that I can quickly pull up and look at the notes to see if somebody dropped in a note. And if I wanted to add a note, no big deal. Come down here, I go to my vehicle section tab here, and I can drop in a note. So if it was an overnight test drive, no problem. Overnight test drive. And then maybe I want to add a manager to this because I want them to see this notification. Cool. Go find your manager. If Hanoi is my manager, add him in it and hit submit. Now he'll get an alert not only in the dashboard and the app about this with that note. And anyone will be able to see this note because it's attached to stock number VIN, so it would show up right there. So that way we know, hey, the vehicle is not only off the lot, but why is it off the lot? Now, you may want to have your own BVA program or CRM that you're going to work out of, but understand that you have this to take advantage of. If a key or a car leaves the campus with an employee, you accidentally took a key home, right? You borrowed a car, you filled out the BVA paperwork, but you left it on your desk. Now they're going, hey, what's going on? Understand that I could shoot a text out to a sales guy and go, hey, do me a favor, open up your TrueSpot app. When they open the app up, it turns on the location services and then adds it to the network. So if they have a key in their pocket at their house, in their pants, their work pants that they took off, it would ping that key off the campus. Super helpful to make sure if something does leave, hey, did it leave with a sales guy? And if so, do we need to recut it or will it make its way back? So very helpful. Now you can also use that if you want to drop off a car or key at an off-site vendor, right? So if I had a vendor that was, across town that I occasionally use for tint, maybe I want to go over there, open up the app, mark the locations of that vehicle and that key off campus, right? And then I could drop in a note, hey, we sent it to third-party tint or whatever the case may be. If I want to look at old age units, I absolutely can. It's kind of nice if you're saying, hey, show me everything that's 90 plus days old, and then I can turn on my pins and I can see where those vehicles are at. So if I've got a 90 plus day old vehicle and it's sitting over here at the body shop, Well, maybe I want to know why, right? Now, if it's over here in the inventory department, maybe there's something going on with it, right? But this way I can start to look at inventory and go, hey, if I've got old age units, I want to make sure they're sitting somewhere visible to be purchased. Now, the other side to that is your inventory managers. If you're saying, hey, I need to look up all of a certain type of vehicle. So for the sake of this, it's a Toyota dealership. Maybe I want to go 2024s, and then specifically I'm going to go to Toyotas, right? Since they've got quite a few of them. And maybe I want to do 4Runners, right? And I want to see where all of my 4Runners are at. Well, I can click on this, and now it's going to present me with a list of all my 4Runners, and I can see pin drops of the locations of those vehicles, right? So I can zoom in, zoom out. So if I've got 3 of them sitting over here, okay, cool. I just want to make sure they're sitting together, right? One's on floor 3, one's on floor 4. Hey, maybe we get them on the same floor together, right? So if you're trying to keep the inventory nice and tight, understand this is a very easy way to do it. You don't have to walk around with a pen and a paper and write down stock numbers and VINs that have been misparked. This makes that process so much faster. Manual entries, if you ever want to tag something that's not a key or a car, understand that this is where it's going to live. So if you want to tag a jump box, a golf cart, dealer plates are a big one for guys where they're like, hey man, I want to tag that. Well, how would I do that? No problem. I could go to Justin dealer plate, right? And it's not going to exist in the system. It'll say, hey, do you want to create this as a manual entry? Yes, I do. And then I add a tag to whatever that item is, and now we can track whatever that item is. So before we get out of here, one last thing I want to show you related to having all this location data is how can I use it? Right? Outside of just helping me find keys and cars, be more efficient, prevent those costs, right? Well, what if I told you we can help you as far as understanding what vehicles are getting test driven? Here's a perfect example. This is a report we've created for a dealership where they can see, hey, I want to look at all the vehicles that have been driven in the last, let's say, 7 days, right? What's been test driven? And I'll describe that a test drive has to be for at least 10 minutes. And it can be up to 164 minutes for the sake of this. So now, with that location data, I can tell them what vehicles left and were gone for more than 10 minutes, but less than, let's say, 30, right? And present them with a list of vehicles that left the lot. But additionally, they can just understand what's being driven on our lot, right? What are people coming to look at? Well, great. I've got a list of all the stock numbers and VINs that were test driven. And if you want to know which ones were driven the most, I can even provide that up here as well. So if you want to say, hey man, I had a car that got driven 20 times. We need to buy more of those. I need to send my guy to the auction and be like, we need more of that car in that configuration. So if I can get similar mileage and sell at a similar price, it sounds like we have a good car in our hands. So understand that we can take the data that you have and start presenting to you. So if you want to see things like test drive reports and understand what's being driven and how often, you can use that. All right, guys, so if you'd like to learn a little bit more about tracking keys and tracking vehicles, I'd be more than happy to talk with you. And understand that you can track more than just keys and cars. You can do jump boxes, golf carts. Or if you want to move this over to the service side and talk about how I do that, we do offer a product that allows you to track a vehicle and track a key. Simply connect this to an RO, and now I can see the location of those keys and cars. It becomes really powerful for those guys because sometimes cars don't start and you need to find them, or sometimes they don't have alarms. They're older. This becomes super powerful and makes all of those guys more efficient. So understand that we can apply this to the retail side, the service side. If you want to look at how we can apply this to your recon process, I can do some really cool things there. So give me a call, text, email. Let's talk about your store. If you'd like to get a demo set up and pricing, I'll have that link below in the description and, of course, at the end of this screen. Other than that, look forward to hearing from you. Talk to you later.